Hello comic fans, here's Earl Grey, or rather some strange brew of coffee, because it's very early, at least for Sunday. But I want to wake up and ramble about this fantastic book here, Echolands, by j.h.williams III and a couple of guys. Initially I thought this would be a good opportunity to talk about J.H. Williams in general and his work, starting maybe with Promethea and talking quite a fair bit about Overture, his introduction to the Sandman, and his Batman stuff, of course, and Batwoman and whatnot. But hey, this book here is more than enough for one long rambly video, as you can see here. There was quite an excitement when this book here was announced and this first issue here came out, and I had to put this one here on my pull list because J.H. Williams III is one of my favorite artists, hands down. I mean, he's perfect, and especially when he does this unusual thing to flip the normal comic book format around so that we have a landscape formatted book here with no gutter loss in these issues here. And this was the final reason and argument for me to get this here in floppy format. Fantastic stuff, and then they sold it at the same time in a second format. Let me grab this here. These so-called raw cuts, in which you get, this is from issue 2, the raw cut. Without the doing of Dave Stewart, because, so to get this out of the way, Dave Stewart is the colorist here, but credits where credits due, because the shades of gray here, these washes, are by J.H. Williams III. It's a bit the same modus operandi like in Tim Sale's Batman books, or Tim Sale's style in general. Think of The Long Halloween, for an example, in which he the shades, these light effects are prepared through the ink washes, and the colorist just has to add this additional layer of color over it. And as you can see here, it's hard to say that this isn't necessary. You want to have this version as well, because the colors are fine, but look at this expressive use of black and white. When you just put the colors away, it suddenly gets a life of its own. And you have still all these pieces. It's a bit like artist edition, like this. This is the idea behind this here. So that you can see what J.H. Williams III was actually doing there. And on some of these, this is the raw cut for issue 3, and I guess all the colors here are by J.H. Williams III and don't have anything to do with Dave Stewart. I can be wrong that the colors here for the cover were added by Dave Stewart, but this would be a bit goofy. Here you can see the doing of Todd Klein. It's not as important as in the Sandman, which he made famous, in which he invented certain font for each of the characters. Here it's a bit more in the background, but you can still see a lot of thinking went into the letters. And this is a perfect font, I think, for a being that is half robotic, half develops a certain sense of being alive, almost Swamp Thing-like, is she drawn. She's the daughter of the evil wizard over there. So yeah, I so far I have told you nothing about the story here, but I guess this is the first thing that this art here just overwhelms you, and then the story comes next in a bit. But the story flows pretty naturally, for a reason I would say because of the idea of echolands. Echolands is a world, or these echolands are worlds that are echoing realms of fiction in our world, like Star Wars, for instance. The evil character, the wizard guy, is clearly inspired by the Chancellor in Star Wars, and we have lots of other creations here that mimic, and the tech stuff here that are just more than inspired. They are downright homage to their templates. And our main character here is Red Riding Hood, or some cool modern version of Red Riding Hood. Introduction here by Neil Gaiman, and brace yourself, a forward that doesn't want to be a forward because he doesn't want to spoil anything, and sometimes forwards are a bit not necessary when the author doesn't want to say anything. But anyhow, we are prepared for the ride here, and this is our Red Riding Hood. And of course, very Deborah Harry-like, another character that is modeled after her. She haunts the male artist, of course, and all of us men, I guess, think just of iZombie and other stories in which she just is used as a model, or think of an homage. She's not used. She was just beautiful, and she's a good model for this Red Riding Hood character here. Hope Red Hood, that's her name. And it starts really in fairytale land. And the interesting, fantastic thing here is whenever he takes one character out of his natural fictitious realm, he portrays J.h. Williams III, draws and sometimes paints her or him or it in the style that is fitting. So we have this children book style almost there, and he changes on one page from one character to the other his style totally. And so we start with a fairy tale and end up in a modern sci-fi tech saga. And look at the use here of the format. It's all over the book. Just a random page here. Okay, this is... But here we have the gang of around Red Riding Hood, and you see the different characters are drawn with different styles here. We have the monochrome ones that are either the drags, as in vampires. We will see them, much more of them later. Here's this cartoony guy, drawn in some Dick Tracy-like style, and this dude here is, for some reason or another, called Canif. And here you can see what I meant with... That's the daughter again, even though you maybe can't really see her, but the swamp thing-like being of hers here. And I mean, it's legend what j.h.williams the third does with his panel layouts. But you're almost never confused. Yeah, no, I wasn't never confused here, because somehow he always finds a way to lead our eyes through these pages, whatever he does. And sometimes you have different opportunities or possibilities to read these pages, but they have all, sometimes it is possible to read the pages in different manners. By the way, here you have, of course, some Kirby-like character, even more so here, including his chair. Here he is called Orion, but I think it's clear where he's taking from which realm. Which realm echoes in these lands here, and there we have these mystic guy, this oracle. Here, this is something that I want to show you. Here we have, here the pages are separated in two stripes. So through the original issue, there was this part of the story that went above, and another one around this guy who is separated from his gang, who has some adventures of his own in Robotland, and I'm really interested and curious how this will continue, because this is, as I said, it's just volume 1 of the saga, and story-wise it's not much more than a chase through these different lands of fictitious narratives. And here you can see a Kirby guy carrying one Frank, and it's just the upper half of that Frank dude. So one of the monochrome ones, who is drawn monochrome, and especially you can see this with the monochrome. I don't want to spoil too much for you, but you can, I don't know. Okay, interrupting myself here. This is a double page I want to talk about a bit on its own, because here you can see, for one, the thing that I speak about with these washes. I'm pretty certain that this was done before by other artists as well, but I would refer to them as Tim Sale washes. And you can see already how this page here is laid out. And wait a second, I look for the colored version. Okay, my lighting is gone, which means respectively I had to change the light. I hope it's not too bad, but I want to finish this video here. Anyhow, here you can see the black and white double page I was talking about, and here we have the colored one. Guiding us through these pages, and what I really found interesting about this part of the story is that our main heroes here are in this capsule, not deliberately, not by they are more or less captives at this point of the story, and they're led by this device here through the page, through the double page, as you can see here. Here are the rails that guide us through the story, almost like j.h.williams does with us readers through his pages. By the way, here you can see that this is maybe a good thing for our main cast of characters here, because outside of this vehicle here, on this monorail, There's a bit of hell breaking loose here, literally. And look how impressive all this stuff here is drawn. Fantastic. But this goes, of course, even further in some of the most interesting pages. Each and every page here is interesting, but these are just some of my favorites amongst them. Here you can see the rail. So we have suddenly a top-on perspective. And here we see this little vehicle, monorail vehicle that drives them here. And here we have the a look inside that one. And this is really a world of wonder and a bit of horror, of course, they're experiencing, and we as the readers as well. All these pages are so breathtaking, and so this first volume is really just us pushing us and pulling us through these different worlds, these realms of echoes from very different parts of our imagination and our storytelling tradition, if you will. And you can spend a lot of time finding out which character references which original or vice versa. I mean, it's fantastic, and I can't wait, really, I can't wait to get on, to hop on the next storyline here, or the next storyline, the next book, I want to say. Is this a double-page spread combining space, quotes on, quotes off, science, and of course a lot of childish, naive excitement about rockets? This is a beautiful rocket, painted rocket right there. So, yeah, I think I should talk a bit about the format here, because I really have to discuss for myself if I want to continue triple dipping with the next volume. Since I really, on the basic line, bottom line, this is the best format here. As Sleepy Reader put out, and this was for me the last straw to get this book here, it's slightly bigger than these issues here, by almost the tiniest possible margin, but anyhow, they are bigger, these hardcovers. And the binding is just so excellent that you get almost no gutter loss at all, as you could see by all the stuff that I've shown you. So I really don't know. Maybe I continue with these here, because especially the raw cuts are sometimes very impressive. And here you can see painting all done by j.h.williams. And again, so this is an interesting insight. And for those of you who really liked the Absolute edition of the Sandman Overture, in which they've reproduced the j.h.williams III stuff in this fashion as well, as a bonus, a very extended bonus, then I really can recommend the raw cuts here. We have a bit of these pages here, but just a little assortment, just a small selection of the stuff here in the back. Amongst these, the aforementioned double page here, and this here, where you can really see how j.h.williams plays with the panel layouts here in a fantastic manner. And And the monochromes here are obviously almost totally his doing. So yeah, you get some glimpses into this kind of thing or process work of j.h.williams with this one here as well. But when you want to have the whole thing here, I guess you have to get these raw cuts. I'm a bit torn. It's and especially with the original floppies, which are not really floppy. These are really, this is really good thick cardboard with a slick plasticky feel on them. So you get something worth your buck for sure with these. But what annoys me quite a bit, I mean, it's a bit unfair to critique something as exciting and fantastic as this one here. We have a little, what's this here actually? The Red Hood Club. Okay, in the back. Sorry, I skipped this, and I really skipped this one. Yeah, I'm always interested in the musical interests of creators, other human beings in general, of course, but this is just a bit too much. We have here the playlist that j.h.williams, what he heard while working on this chapter here, and we don't get this once, we get this in each issue, and actually I got it now thrice because it is reprinted here in the originals and colored floppies and in the raw cuts, and thrice in this book here. And honestly, I really hoped for a bit more. I mean, you can do a bit more, especially when you have exciting stuff like this here. Do a bit more of drawings if you have to fill some pages, or do some explanation, explore some of the references to certain characters. I don't expect you to talk about all these characters in the book that are and a full biography of Deborah Harry or so, and then you would wind up with a book thick as this here. But something different, something new, and something that was not before in the floppies. But otherwise, I mean, I just can't recommend this book here enough. Maybe I wouldn't recommend in multi-dipping of any sorts. Just get this hardcover and cherish it. Look at these stories. I mean, if this is not one of these books that you can take with you on an island, I don't know. But maybe, it's always, I'm very excited when I get new stuff, but this is not really new. I had these books here for a while now and took glimpses into these books and read them, of course, and I'm always excited when I can get a new view and within these books. Hey, folks. It's a bit too late, but skip the last minute of my rambling and we just finish it here. Thanks for listening and watching. Goodbye.